As a young boy growing up in the 80s and the 90s, I obviously was going to be playing with toy cars. Matchbox and Hot Wheels were the vehicles of choice, but then I discovered MicroMachines. These scaled down little models changed the game completely, with a vast amount of different styles available, with different tracks and different playsets. And so it stands to reason that the computer game license would be up for grabs, and Codemasters swooped in and started development. In 1991, MicroMachines hit our shelves on the Nintendo Entertainment System, but today, Noob Game Reviews are going to be looking at MicroMachines on the Sega Megadrive. One thing to get out the way from the get-go, the music is terrible, and it's not representative of what the Megadrive can output. I mean, take a listen to this game menu screen. It's awful. And there's a good job there's not much of music in the game. In fact, apart from a few car sounds and explosions, there's not a lot going on. So that to one side, let's move on. Codemasters at the time were a bit of a maverick game company. They got into hot water for their Game Genius system, and MicroMachines in the Megadrive was no exception. They started sending out preview cards to various places before even getting a license from Sega to distribute the game. They were unique in having different shaped cartridges. Here is the MicroMachines one. One of the sequels even had a multi-tap built in, but that's for another day. Upon loading the game, you were treated to the opening screen and two options, 1 or 2 players. The one player game has 2 subsections, head to head or challenge. We're going to tackle the challenge first, as this is the main hub of the game. You select one of 11 characters, all have their unique abilities. Spider is regarded as the best, however I slightly resemble Dwayne, so I'm going to pick him. Then it's off to a tutorial qualifying round. It sticks you in a speedboat, you drive around the bathtub. This gets you ready for the main game and gets you used to the controls. On the Megadrive, you press B button to accelerate, A button to slow down reverse, C button fires any weapons that you have, and the D-pad moves you left and right. It's simple enough. And then it's off to your garage to see your collected models. Obviously it's the first level, so you're going to be going for the first model. Level 1 is racing 4x4s around the breakfast table. All the races have their own unique namings, as you can see, and this is where the fun begins. MicroMachines is a top-down racer, and it's basically a race to the end line over 3 laps of a track. Finishing in the top 2 moves you on to the next level, finishing below second place loses you a life. The aim is to complete all 25 tracks. The 25th track you must win to complete the game. Every track you complete you acquire the vehicle and your collection soon builds up. All the tracks have themes, and they are in no particular order. You could race on a breakfast table in 4x4s. You could drive in a bathtub in speedboats. You can ride buggies over a sandpit level. You can drive helicopters in a greenhouse. You can play with tanks in a bedroom. Or Formula 1 cars on a pool table. You can drive sports cars on a desk. And you can even drive warrior cars on a workbench. There is a bonus level where you can use a monster truck to complete a garden level within a specified time to gain an extra life. But as you can see, I wasn't very good at this level. Each vehicle handles very differently, and in no time at all you're going to be flying off tables and crashing into pool balls. Some of the cars have weapons. The tanks can fire a cannon to destroy your enemies, and the warrior cars smash them to a pulp. You end up playing with the different cars 3 separate times over the course of the game, so the variety does keep you entertained. The level designs are well done, each have their own obstacles and pitfalls. The bathtub in the speedboat levels was a particular pain for me, as well as the thin rulers on the desk levels. But as I say, practice makes perfect. Or not. You can take your time to admire the parallax scrolling on the floor while zooming on the pool table. It does give you a very good sense of speed, and you can realise that as you eventually crash off again for the umpteenth time. Every few races, one of the computer controlled characters drops out and you choose another. This eventually leads to the final race with the final 4 races. It's a speedy sport car level on the desk environment where you must finish in first place to complete the game. Now hold on, this is Fast and Furious and not for the faint-hearted. Well done if you completed this game back in the day. The 2-player game has the same mechanics as head-to-head section of the first player game. Here, you again choose a character and opponent, and the aim of the game is to be winning the race in such a way you are more than one screen length away from your opponent. This sounds more complicated than it actually is. If you do this 8 times, using a seesaw scoring system, you win the round and it's on to the next one. This is definitely the best mode for 2-player gaming, and it did cause many arguments back in the day. It's not so much fun in 1 player, but it is another option if you finish the challenge mode. This game spawned many sequels and has recently been released on the Xbox One. The MicroMachines franchise has grown since this game back in the early 90s, but this is a fantastic introduction and a great little 16-bit title. If you're after some fast and furious action, and you don't mind playing with micro things, go and find a copy, you won't regret it. So that's all for today's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Noob Game Reviews.